he's making almost all of his decisions apparently in some underground bunker, and he's already letting people know, like within his core family, within friends, family, to just start preparing now because something big is about to happen.
Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. All right, and then next, let's get Jake on the line. Jake, are you there?
I am.
So,
how are you?
I'm good. So you said that Ramzan Kadyrov was just promoted. Is that right?
Sure. Yeah. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but yeah.
I don't either.
Yeah, he's Chechen. He's the Chechen general who was one of the main proponents for using tac boom booms, I guess you can say, in areas that were being captured by UKR pretty quickly. And so they were his main message to the bear, and he actually specifically goes to higher ups within that government. And so like he's extremely close to the leader there and all that stuff. Anyway, he has just been promoted, but everybody was kind of worried because he was the only one of the few who is basically just as hard as you can get in terms of the use of tac boom booms. I mean, like he's totally for it all.
Nuclear, the use of nuclear bombs.
Yes. Yeah.
It's okay. You can say that.
I didn't know.
Yeah, no, thank you for being careful.
Yeah, he's totally.
I appreciate that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. He's totally for the use of nuclear weapons. And then I also heard something that was a pretty interesting scenario that may play out, that they may not actually detonate one on the ground and have visible damage, like in terms of structure or casualties of people or, forced leaving the earth. Anyway, this person that I was talking with, he brought up that maybe they could could detonate one similar to an EMP that would just show that, hey, we're here, we can use it whenever we want to. There was no air defense that could stop this, and the next one will be very much lower and much hotter for you guys. I thought that was a pretty interesting concept, that it wouldn't necessarily need to have any property or people damage. It would just be a show of force almost for the entire world that, hey, you need to cool it. We need to go back to the peace table. We need to just talk this out. And then what I also thought was kind of nerve-wracking is the second article that Dex sent you. The leader of the bear country, he's making almost all of his decisions apparently in some underground bunker that he's made. And according to this article, which I will say everything should be taken with a grain of salt, but according to the article, it's taken as fact. He's making these decisions, and he's already letting people know, like within his core family, within friends, family, to just start preparing now because something big is about to happen. And what's interesting is, and I didn't share this with Dex because it was a passing tweet, but there was a Twitter handle that was quoting somebody, but they never gave a name. So again, that's a red flag for accuracy. But the tweet basically said that someone within rankings of the Bear military are at this point kind of mouthing off, saying, this is just going to happen. Something big is about to happen in the next few days. The world's going to, it's similar to the statements that the German, the parliament style member said, though it was misspeak apparently. It's something similar that,
but
you guys are going to be shocked at what happens.
But you're saying this time these guys aren't misspeaking. They're just saying it straight out.
Right, exactly. They're just like, something big's about to happen. And what's kind of, the tweet later goes on to say, believe me or not, I don't care. And I just need to get this out here. What I think is kind of interesting is that it doesn't sound like it's coming from somebody high up, because if it was coming from somebody high up, it would be more cautious in their verbiage. But their quote is very direct in saying, no, something big's about to happen, which tells me it's probably coming from somebody much lower, like a colonel or lower, who is basically just given orders and, essentially to kind of like lay low and pull back. Because if you look at what's going on, that's exactly what's happening, is that the Bear forces are basically just ceding all this massive swaths of land, and everybody's taking it as a win, but not asking why they're giving up this land. I mean, there's no tactical value for this land. There's no resource value. They've already stripped up most of it, and they're stretching the UKR forces so thin that if they do end up launching tactical nukes, then they could decimate the entire army of UKR within a matter of hours. And nobody can stop that, because there's no forces on the Western Front that can kind of reinforce the Eastern Front if something like that happens, because they're all taking land. Like, they're all being used to push forward. It's like the UKR president has gotten very greedy in his actions, and he's kind of just pushed all his forces into this one basket. Well, if this one basket gets nuked, then you kind of just lost your army.
It's
nerve-wracking.
In this article, there's a couple shocking parts here. It says the supposed evacuation includes his eldest daughter, Maria Vorontsova, 36, a geneticist. By the way, isn't it just like every evil villain in the world is also some sort? There's always a geneticist. How many people go into what do you call that? Geneticism? I don't know. And then his other daughter is a rock and roll dancer turned mathematician. Like, this is like the villain family right here. But it says relatives, this was a quote, relatives and friends of the heads of state will be delivered to the bunker in advance. This is pretty freaky. This is stating that it's like soon, in the next couple days. And what you meant when you said like it would be a big show of force, it would be kind of like what happened with Japan, where it was war. They nuked them once. They still didn't give up. They nuked twice, and they're like, okay. We'll stop now. Right? Are you saying something like that?
Yep. Exactly. I mean, that's because personally, I think what would happen is UKR gets nuked once, and they will expect us to kind of back them up, but I don't think we're going to come to their rescue. I think we're going to let them hang out to dry, and then Russia's going to see that they're not stopping. They're just kind of stalling, and then they're going to push for the advantage. Which, I mean, let's face it, UKR doesn't have nukes and Russia does, so they already have the advantage. But yeah, I mean, and what's interesting is apparently he even told his mistress that to kind of seek shelter. He's not bringing her into the bunker, but
or the love child.
Apparently gotten to the point where right, or the love, yeah, exactly. But it's gotten to the point where he's letting people know that, hey, find somewhere to go. A mountain, anything, because it's about to happen.
Wow. And how could you do that even if it was a love child or out of wedlock? That's what that almost says this isn't true. It's like, how would you not? I guess a lot of people will joke and say, I could see not inviting your ex, but your daughter, even if it was a love child, they say that Elizaveta was not invited. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then the last thing is, are you familiar with a site called ADSB Exchange?
No, I'm not. What is it?
So it's Alpha Delta Sierra Bravo. It's basically a site that you can go onto and track any kind of air traffic, be it civilian or military, whichever. And on hold, I had it pulled up. What's interesting is that when you zoom out, because you'll see if you press the U, if you go to the website, you press the U up in the upper right-hand corner, it shows what military aircraft have their transponders on. When you go over Europe, there's only 4 things flying right now. And 2 of those are German, and 2 of those are, one's a Pakistani and one's an Egyptian aircraft coming in from the west over Ireland. But other than that, nothing, which I find kind of interesting because literally this entire time, since February when this all started, this whole map has been covered with planes. I think the fewest I've seen is maybe 6 or 7, and most of those were our planes, our aircraft. But right now there is no American, there's no English, there's only German. From NATO, there's only German planes flying. And then when you go to our side, over CONUS, the America, for whatever reason, aircraft are avoiding North Dakota. And North Dakota has Minot, which is the rocket city of America. And it's like they are, and I don't know if this is standard practice. I'm not a pilot for the Air Force or Navy, Marine. I'm not caught up on any of that. I just think it's strange that there's some planes that are changing like its entire flight path just to avoid the very north central of America, where all of our Minutemen, all of our Nike or our old Nike systems used to be. They're all avoiding that one area just in case. I think it's just in case we need to retaliate. We're not going to hit any planes from military side. There's civilian planes that are flying over there, but in terms of military traffic, we're not going to hit anything if we need to retaliate and go either west or east, depending on who starts stuff.
Well, scary thought. And Dex, it looked like you wanted to chime in there at one point. Did you want to pop in?
Yeah, Adam, I was just going to mention that you're familiar with you just didn't catch the name. This is the flight system that we use.
Yeah, I know, and I thought he said that Putin has. I thought he was saying it was a Putin-made website.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. It was
no.
I misheard you. I know we use that site all the time. I thought you said that Putin has a website called this and this and that, and yeah, I totally missed that. But yeah, I use that.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, we use that.
I'm sorry.
So wait, but just to make sure that I'm totally correct on that, you were watching it. What time period was there no flights over there? And then
right now.
Right now.
Like right now. And I reading the comments also, and Rip Curl, I completely forgot his message or his video that you talked about a few days ago was on Minot, and that base is in North Dakota. They were moving those tips of nukes, conventional, I don't know, but they were moving the tips. And so maybe they did load them onto a few payload systems because, like I said, there is no aircraft going over North Dakota right now.
And just so you guys, if you didn't watch the last week of shows, Rip Curl called in with pictures sent to him basically of what looks like U.S. soldiers loading up tactical warheads, specifically that we believe that with a fair amount of certainty because of the kind of container holding it. It's a very specialized container. They only put 6 on each humongous, 40-yarder truck type thing, and this is if this is recent, then this is freaky. It actually shows them loading it up from a bunker. This was what we talked about the other night. This is why a lot of folks are starting to go, okay, this is getting real. And
what's interesting is that, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, because I remember watching that video and you guys didn't really know if it was a recent picture or set of pictures or if it was more current. I would now, with ADS, I would kind of say, and of course the events of what's going on, I would say it's more recent than anything. Just for instance, there's a base north of Seattle. A C-5 took off from there, or C-17, excuse me. C-17 took off from there, and instead of flying over North Dakota, Montana, that area, which would be a straight line, and again, I don't know if the curvature of the Earth played into it. I'm sure it did, if you believe in that. But anyway, so it took off from Seattle to go to Maine, and instead of flying over North Dakota, Montana, all those places, it went north over Canada and in through region or Regina or whatever, Winnipeg, that area, Ottawa. So it went through Canada instead of through just a straight line through the United States to go to Maine. That's how big of a swath of land they're trying to avoid.
A detour, a huge detour that probably costs thousands of dollars in fuel.
Exactly.
Well, man, Jake, great call. Thank you for letting us know about, especially those articles. We will add that to the website so everybody can access that. If there's even a little bit of truth in those, that's scary. That was from Business Standard, but it makes clear at the bottom that this is a syndicated article. This is something that a bunch of people grabbed. So this is most likely, Dex, wouldn't you say, if this is syndicated in Business Standard, probably paid for the rights to kind of rebrand it? Isn't this something that's probably all over the place?
Yeah, it probably came from a syndication, whether it was AP or somebody else, right? It's going to be coming from a news source that syndicates their content out.
Yeah, because I've even looked on how you do that, right? And this Business Standard basically pays to get this syndicated article, and they kind of rebrand it, put their name on it. Pretty crazy stuff. If this is at all true, very, very alarming things here. Well, Jake, thank you for calling in, and I appreciate you. And man, don't be a stranger. Everybody would love to hear from you again. You got a brilliant brain on your
Excellent.
head.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. By the way, if you are watching this show, we are independent. Please make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield, marfooglenews.com/EMP to protect yourself, protect your car, protect your generators, protect your motorcycles, your RVs, pretty much anything you want to keep running, including your home, you can get protection for. Go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP to save $50 off each device that you get, and that actually stacks on top of any sale they are running. This is a device and a company that has actually been utilized by agencies like DHS, Department of Homeland Security, DOD, Department of Defense, and they are officially on the DEMSO team helping the Texas grid. So essentially everywhere in America has utilized this company in some which way. So make sure you can go check it out. It's a veteran-owned business. It's 100% American-made down to the screws. It is an awesome product, and it could save your life. It can also stop a Carrington-level event from frying your cars, your motorcycles, your vehicles, even your ham radio. So make sure to go check that out. Again, the car version is the most popular, but they have tons of other ones, including, of course, the home version. Once wired in, it can protect 250 linear feet away from where it is wired in, which will cover most houses. Again, make sure to go check their website for details. And thank you every time that you go and support that. Not only are you getting a discount, but you're also supporting our channel. It's the Foogle fam versus the world, and you guys are a part of it, so thank you. Feed the haters to the alligators. Your way or the highway, see you later. B.O.D. is the homie and Mr. Vader. If it wasn't for you, I would never made it. Whole city's covered by the cremated. Now they listen to what we were saying. Doesn't matter if the manufacturer or created. But now